Oh, just look at the 2019 version of us, how cute we were. We would party with friends, we would go see family, travel, network and meet new people, even go shopping as a kind of hobby. Can you imagine? I feel like this year has evolved us into tougher, more seasoned, rougher versions of ourselves, determined to ride out storms and come out okay on the other side, you know? 2020 was definitely a Milan, I'll make a man out of you type of year, am I right? And it's got everyone thinking about our future selves. How will we travel? How will we communicate? What will we wear? You might remember I worked with Lexus earlier this year on their futuristic inventions as part of the Lexus Design Awards. So today I've actually teamed up with them again to take a closer look at their Freedom to Move project, to think about what the new normal means and how that impacts the creative minds of the future, in particular the designers. Before 2020, the world was our vegan oyster and anyone could approach art and design without it really having to make a lot of sense. We could just throw paint at the canvas and see what we came up with. And for thousands of years, the arts have always been the medium we turn to for hope and inspiration and imagination and a sense of comfort or curiosity. But with everything that's happened this year, the artists and craftspeople who interpret how we view the world now have to address the big fat elephant in the room. It would be impossible not to. So with that in mind, Lexus asked two incredible designers, Chrissa Amuah and Tosin Oshinowo, to come up with an original design that represents their response to the global mood and everything that's happened this year. The Freedom to Move design project is very much about inspiring us to embrace how we will move through this new world, but do it with elegance and luxury. Oh, those are so my type of words. And what item has the world had to embrace this year? The face mask. Solving some of the problems we've met through social distancing and quarantine, a little superhero, you might say. But this is no ordinary face mask. The concept is the most epic ever headpiece with a futuristic, high-concept makeover. As someone who adores avant-garde design, I was really intrigued to see what Tosin and Chrissa would come up with. Tosin Oshinowo is an architect and designer based in Lagos, and Chrissa Amuah is a textile and furniture designer based in London. Tosin is known for her socially responsive approach to architecture and urbanism, and Chrissa draws inspiration from her Ghanaian heritage and a passion for enhancing the power of design with proverbial meaning. Both Chrissa and Tosin have led significant creative careers and been recognized internationally. So, working together in Lagos, Nigeria, Tosin and Chrissa thought about this region as a starting point, given it's the birthplace of mankind. And when the world is in flux, we may as well start from the beginning. Tosin and Chrissa came up with a design that is tied into our new way of being and connecting with each other through the Freedom to Move headpieces. The designers looked at fusing new innovations together with old techniques to come up with these gorgeous headpieces to inspire us and make us think about how we move in the world and which freedoms we still have, although the world around us has changed so drastically. So if you take the utility and protection of a face mask and mix it with gorgeous, sleek design, you get the Igaro headpiece. It's inspired by traditional and universal ways of looking at protection throughout human history, with many different cultural references from all over the world, like the Japanese principles of hospitality and craftsmanship, for example. The name Igaro comes from a 5,000-year-old archaeological site in Nigeria, and many of the mask's design details are celebrations of African culture and discoveries and invention. To create the piece, ancient craftsmanship techniques are matched with advanced technologies such as 3D printing, so the old and the new coming together in perfect harmony. And one of my favorite things about this headpiece is that it's transparent. It's made of molded acrylic, tinko embroidery and brass. And when connecting to each other, I feel like our facial expressions are such an important way to read, social nuances and moods. Besides, it would be a crime to deny the world all of our gorgeous faces. Am I right? Anyway, let's hear from the designers.
We wanted this to now become a celebrated accessory. If we have to wear a mask, why not make it beautiful? Why not make it a statement piece that should be exciting, that, we're in this situation, it's the best way we can deal with it. So we started to look at the different technologies in history, in particularly Nigerian and Benin culture, with the bronze casting. We're using new technology of 3D printing and 3D modeling, working with the old technology of bronze casting and tying them together. All of a sudden, we have time to look at the people around us, our families, our friends, and actually value these human interactions, these things that we take for granted every day, that all of a sudden were taken away from us. And I hope that as a humanity, as we move forward from this pandemic and as we get the vaccine and we can go back to some normal, we will all appreciate this time that it gave us a moment to pause and really think about what really is important.
Tosin's family is from Nigeria. My family is predominantly from Ghana, but although those are two separate and different countries, we have many shared cultural reference points. And it was really important for us to show Africa in a light that it isn't always shown in. We have chosen to adorn the focal point of the body that needs to be protected. The world seems very lost right now, so for me it seems very fitting to sort of turn back to the continent that it all started from. As nomadic beings, Tosin and I were really excited to explore this idea of how can we renegotiate how we can move as human beings.
I just love that way of looking at it, that it's unnatural for human beings to stand still, that we are nomadic in our behavior and we need to find valuable ways to keep up movement and stay connected. I think this is especially true in how we dress and how we express ourselves through fashion. Perhaps in the future we'll be far more familiar with things like wearable technology, 3D printing, and of course badass headpieces. I'd like mine to have FaceTime installed so I can bug David 24/7. What about you guys? How have you dealt with social distancing and quarantine? Do you have any tips to share? For me at least, the most important thing to feel any kind of normal during all of this has been dressing up and people watching other nicely dressed people. And it's not just about, enjoying pretty clothes, which in itself is lovely if you ask me, but it's also about signaling to ourselves that we're still here. We still have personalities to express and we still have reasons to enjoy life and, have a beautiful Saturday. And it makes me happy seeing all these other people in the park dressing in their best weekend outfit because it gives me hope. Do you feel that way too when people watching, like, we're all sort of in this together? I want to thank Lexus for asking me to take the time to consider the new normal and to, in the midst of the tragedies this year, still find reasons to feel inspired and hopeful for 2021. Whatever the next year has in store for us, I feel like we are better prepared and we know that there are comforts and small happinesses and inspiration even when we are constricted to stay local and social distance. Many of us have had a very tough year, but I at least take comfort in knowing that we're all in this together, and although some of our freedoms have been taken away from us this year by this virus, we still have many freedoms left. And it's those that we have to make the most out of and appreciate and be grateful for. I hope I managed to at least give you a tiny bit of inspiration on how the bright minds of the world are interpreting this crazy planet that we call home. Whatever you're going through, I'm sending lots of love from London and talk to you next week already. Puss puss and hej då!
Everyone who is a type A personality, it means that they don't have a personality. That's my take.
So it's instead of a personality, they go for ambition.
Yeah, exactly.
And like being loud.
Yeah.
But seriously though, David, objectively, I am type A.
Well, you have the best of both worlds.